Alright, boys and girls, here's lesson 8.6. You're going to solve multiplication and division equations. And the objective is I can use algebra to solve multiplication and division equations. Sorry for my sore throat, but we're going to get started in this. Yesterday we used models to represent our x's and our tiles. But today you don't have to draw the models. But remember, as always, you're welcome to draw the models if that helps you. Here's our first example to go on the left side of your notebook. You're going to see instructions like solve for the variable or solve the equation. That means what does x equal by itself? So my goal is to isolate or have x be by itself on one side of the equal sign with just numbers on the other side. Right now, you'll notice that x is not by itself. It has a coefficient of 3. There is just numbers on this side, but we still want to get rid of this 3. In order to remove this 3, we can't just cross it off. That doesn't work. But we can do the inverse operation. We know that 3 times x is really what we're seeing here. The inverse of multiplication is division. So if I divide this by 3, 3x divided by 3 just leaves me with x. And that's what I want to do. But once I unbalance this equation, I've got to do the exact same thing on the other side. I have to balance it out. So now 210 divided by 3, that's kind of tricky, but look at it. You really do have a basic fact here. You have 21 divided by 3. And 21 divided by 3 is 7, and you just put a 0 on the end. So 210 divided by 3 is 70. Okay, so in this situation, our variable x equals 70. So, just a reminder, we wanted to isolate the x. Because we were multiplying in the problem, we had to do the inverse, which was to divide both sides of the equation, and that gave us x equals 70. Here's another example. 2.8 equals 4t. We'll notice our variable is t. That's what we're solving for. T is not currently alone. It has a coefficient next to it. So I'm going to do the inverse, which is divide. I'll divide both sides by 4, which is my coefficient. These will cancel out, and that leaves us with t on this side. 2.8 divided by 4. Let's see. Oops, sorry, I'm having a brain freeze here. 2.8 divided by 4, yes. Okay. Sorry, I'm struggling. And that goes in 7 times. Yes. Okay. So there's our answer is 0.7. So t equals 0.7 there. Okay. And here's a try problem. This one is a fraction. Go ahead and you can divide 1/3 by 15. Go ahead and try and solve it on your own, then I'll show it to you to see how you did. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do division here because we have our coefficient. So I'm going to divide by 1/3. Now this looks kind of weird, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these cancel out, and this equals n. Then I have 15 divided by 1/3. I'm going to rewrite this and watch this. 15 divided by 1/3, 15 over 1, keep, switch, flip. Then I just have 15 times 3 over 1. 15 times 3 is 45. So n equals 45. Okay. That's one way to solve it. Another way we could have solved it. I wonder if it'll let me. Yeah. Give me a second. I'll clear this board off. Another way you could have solved it, like we did yesterday in our modeling, is you multiply both sides by 3. Oops, sorry. Multiply both sides by 3. So times this by 3 and times this by 3. And then it leaves you with the coefficient of whatever your numerator is, which in this case is 1. So we have 1n, which is really the same thing as n. And then we had 15 times 3 is 45. Both ways will give you the answer of n equals 45. All right. division problem. So you'll notice that in this problem, our variable is on top of our, it's the numerator. So we're dividing. So 25 equals a over 5, or a divided by 5, because this little fraction line means divided by. So the opposite of division, or the inverse operation, is multiplication. So in order to have a by itself, I need to multiply both sides of this equation by my denominator, which is 5. If I multiply a over 5 by 5, these cancel each other out and I'm left with just a. But I have to repeat the action on this side. 5 times 25, I think of 5 quarters, and that gives me 125a. So just a quick little review here. With division problems, I do the inverse, which is multiply both sides by the denominator. And when I multiply this side, it isolates the variable, leaving me with a number on this side, a equals 125. And basically what that is saying, if I plug it back in, it would say 25 equals 125 divided by 5. Plugging 125 in for a, and 125 divided by 5, that gives me 25, which is the answer here. So it does work. We can always double check our work. All right, let me do another problem on this slide here. So in this situation, our denominator is 7. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 7. These ones cancel, leaving us with just b. 7 times 14.7, I'll write it over here. Don't forget those decimals, they're very important. Okay, count the jumps. Looks like 102.9. I just did that really fast. Let me double check my work here. 7 times 7 is 49. 9, 4. 7 times 4 is 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, perfect. It's always important to check your work, especially with multiplication, make sure you didn't make any silly mistakes. So in this problem, b equals 102.9. If you put 1029, you're wrong. Make sure you have your decimal in there. It's very important. All right, here's one for you. This one is also decimals, but you can handle it. Multiply, or sorry, actually I won't tell you what to do. Let's see if you can do it on your own. Alright, hopefully you decided to multiply each side by the denominator of 14, crossing out these because they cancel, leaving you with a on this side, and 6.8 times 14. I'm going to do that over here. 4 times 8 is 32. 24, 25, 26, 27. And then 8 and 6. Add these together. Remember, it's always important to be practicing these multiplying and adding skills all the time. 7, 8, 9. Okay, count my jumps. It was one jump over. So 95.2. Did you get it right? Hopefully you did. If not, please, please, please don't erase your work, but write down the correct steps. It's very important not to erase your work because then you don't know what you did wrong. But rewrite the steps next to it so that you can see both the incorrect and the correct way to do it. That will help you with your learning the very most. Okay, I just have 2 questions for you. First one, a try it problem. So write that in your book. If you run 6 laps around the track, I don't know if you guys have ever seen like a track, but if you run 6 laps around it, it is 5,288 feet. That's the same as 1 mile. So how many feet is in just 1 lap? Okay, so you need to tell me the answer. I would recommend writing an equation and then solving the equation. Go ahead and try it on your own. Okay, this is the way I would have solved it. There's multiple ways to solve a lot of different problems, but this is how I would have done it. I would have said, okay, if 6 laps, now that is a 6 and an L representing my laps, equals 5,288 feet, and I want to know how much 1 lap equals, then I just need to divide both sides by 6. 5,280 divided by 6. Let's do some math here. Let's see. Oops. I need to go to bed. That's 8. 48. There we go. And then 0, I do need to put my placeholder up there. So each lap equals 880 feet. Make sure you don't leave the 0 off. It's very important that you carry that up there because 88 feet would not be enough because 88 times 6 would not give us 5,000. It does have to be 880, so make sure you have that placeholder. Okay, in Mrs. Price's class, 9 students chose soccer as their favorite sport. This amount represents 3/8 of the class. Solve for x to find the total number of kids in the class. So you're looking to see how many kids are in the class, and that you will find by solving for x. Go ahead and pause it and try it on your own. Alright, so we have a multiplication problem here. As you can see, our coefficient, whoops, I'll switch colors. Our coefficient and our variable, we're going to divide by 3/8. I'm going to divide both sides by 3/8 and do keep, switch, flip. X will equal whatever 9 divided by 3/8 is. So I'm going to keep, switch, and flip. I can cross cancel. 3 and 9 share a factor of 3, leaving that 9 as 3 and the 3 as a 1. 1 times 1 will just be 1 on the bottom. I love it when there's just 1 on the bottom. 3 times 8 is 24. So there are 24 students in the class. And that makes sense. If we would have gotten a fraction, I would have been a little bit concerned. But we did get a whole number, which is how many students are in the class. Alright, boys and girls, that's all for the lesson today. Hopefully you feel pretty confident with multiplying and dividing fractions. Multiplying and dividing equations. And we're going to get a lot of practice on this. So make sure that you come back, rewatch the videos, and I hope you've taken very great notes. And have a great day of learning. Thank you so much.